Welcome back, Wolfpack, to another electrifying episode of the Wolf Den Podcast. I'm filling in as your host, Justin Nielsen, General Manager of Wolf River, and I'm here with some really awesome guys today to talk about some of the cool new things that you're going to be seeing in Wolf River. First, we got Dylan, as you've met before. Dylan is the VP of Construction, and Logan Garaghty, who is actually, man, dude, you do everything, right? Pre-con, post-con management, you manage ads, you manage the podcast. Dude, what don't you do?
I mean, I'm really open to anything. Whatever I can do to help is really my goal. I really enjoy everyone that works here, getting to meet all the journeymen out in the field, you know, through phone calls mostly, but now as I've been here for almost 2 years now, getting to see them and actually meet them and talk to them and go out to jobs with them and troubleshoot issues out on sites, it's been really great. So, like, I really like to get into every aspect of this company in any way just to help out and see how I can broaden my personal horizon using the knowledge of everyone that surrounds this company.
Dude, it's like so funny you say that, right? Because when I think of like, what does Logan do? It's like, well, first you kind of came in to, you know, help with a few different things, but like you kind of came into a super niche thing, which is working with, you know, getting the, was it monitoring set up for customers?
I started out with doing monitoring, setting up monitoring, really just doing anything Nolan asked me to do. He, like, later, now that it's been 2 years past, he said, yeah, your first day, I didn't know you were coming. I scrambled, put things together. And
the story of Wolf River.
luckily it worked out for us. Like, we just meshed really well right from the beginning, where we get along great. We've never even had an argument with one another. Like, we're really on board and on the same speed, you know, all the time. So it really worked out great, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, it's like, it's so cool because, so you were, we played, so for those of you who don't know, high school hockey, we played together at St. Francis High. Go Saints. But Logan was my goaltender, and we reconnected. You were in the solar industry for a little bit on the sales side, but coming back to Minnesota, it's something that you still felt like moderately interested in. So you decided to get into it, just get into a different part of it, would you say?
Yeah, I'll say I started in sales, and I only started in sales because my cousin was out in Texas doing what they call blitz trips. So basically they would fly out to somewhere in Texas. It would be different every month, but Abilene was one, Dallas, Fort Worth area, Houston. Basically they'd canvass Texas. And he was making tons of money setting appointments. That's all he was doing. He was going door to door, setting appointments. And he was making great money. So eventually, I think I pushed him off like 3 months. I told him, no, I'm not interested. But finally, I went out and saw what it was about. And I got out there, no training at all. They just threw me out in the streets and said, go knock the doors. Here's the script. Good luck. And for 10 days, I walked aimlessly in the streets of Abilene, Texas. And luckily, I made one sale. And I closed it myself, so I got, like, it made the trip worth it. Nice. But I had no idea what I was doing. I really just got lucky. I opened the door to this guy's house after I knocked it because he told me to come in, and I accidentally let his dogs out. Dogs ran away. I spent 2 hours looking for the dogs.
No way.
I got him back, and I came back, and basically he was like, whatever you got to sell, let me hear it. And
that's how you got your first sale, dude?
That's how I got my first sale.
Oh,
and
man.
So I got that, and
I'm gonna try that one.
So I spent some time after that, continuing to not know what I was doing, just knocking doors, failing miserably. And eventually I just got so down on myself, like, I was like, what is this even about? Like, I was like, I don't even know the company. I don't even know if they actually put up panels or not. Like, who am I selling for?
For sure.
And I started to doubt them, so I started, like, while I was out on the streets, looking them up on Reddit, you know, Google. And nothing I saw about them was good. Like, and after that, like, it was really hard for me to go to doors and make a sale, you know, after that. Like, I couldn't do it. I didn't believe in the company. I didn't believe in the product. I didn't even know if the product was going up. So after that, basically, I went on one more blitz after, I went on one more blitz in April. And we went to Houston, super saturated market. every door I went to, they already had solar, had been knocked 100 times that day already. Like, it was just really tough. Nobody on the team, even like the vets, like, didn't make a sale on that blitz. And I actually called Seth from the hotel I was staying at poolside because I had given up, but I was still interested in solar because I wanted to see it work and I wanted to believe in it, but I just hadn't seen that yet. So I gave you a call and I told you, look, I have this much experience, but I'm willing to learn anything, and now I'm here.
It's crazy what people can do when they believe in something.
Yeah.
It's crazy what you can't do when you don't believe in it too. You know what I mean? My gosh, I tell you what though, man, it's like, it's so crazy because so many people get into solar because it's like, especially our generation, right? Because, most people in our generation have to like have some sort of resonance of like believing in the mission or believing in what they're doing, right? Like that studies show that, especially like millennials, I don't even know what age group I am. I'm not sure what I am, but I'm guessing I'm a millennial. But like most like people in our age group, like they have to have some sort of like a moral agreement or like an ethical focus on the work they're doing or what it makes them as a person, like development. Like there has to be some sort of like resonance of like
100%.
building or like goodness or virtues or values, right?
For sure.
And so it's crazy because people get into solar doing that, and they soon find out that solar is full of crooks, dude. Solar is full of companies that like may have started off with the right type of, the right idea at first, but they just have salespeople running shit that shouldn't be running things, and it just gets like way off to like left field, and next thing you know, company goes under. 100 plus customers are left with a system that's not completed, and we've seen it over and over again, right? So it's crazy because your story is not unique. You know what I mean?
No, and I know that for a fact because even knocking doors in Texas, like there was people's houses I went to and they're like, oh, we have solar. No one ever came and hooked it up, but the panels are on the roof.
There. Yeah. They look great.
And then they would leave them. They would just leave, and that would be the end of the story. And I saw that all over Texas.
Texas?
Yeah, all over. And it was a lot of the same companies that we ran into up here that did the same thing, like Empire Solar. Moxie was one that I heard about in Texas before I really knew anything about the industry at all. But Moxie was one that it was mentioned when I was down there.
Right.
And it wasn't just happening here when I got here. It was before, all across the market.
Well, dude, it's just so crazy, like, because like these companies that you're naming, even like Suntuity, there's so many companies that are going under now, that are leaving customers in a situation that's less than solid, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if from the looks of it looks like these companies screw people over, even though it wasn't their motive. That's the result.
Yeah.
And but Dylan, you see this too, right? Coming from
yeah.
your industry, it's like, how often do we see contracting companies just pop up?
Oh yeah.
And then without any heads up, they're just gone.
Yeah. I can't even tell you personally how many times I've met with homeowners who just got left by their contractor, down payment, and just took up and left. Mm-hmm. Actually, one thing that always kind of sticks in my mind is the Better Business Bureau. Right? So actually the Better Business Bureau did a study on this, exactly what we're talking about. That's why it's so important for homeowners and clients to like really do their research, like you did. But actually the Better Business Bureau did a survey of all of their complaints one year. And the most complained about industry was home improvements. And it had, I think, 10.4 million complaints in 1 year. That's a lot. And
10.4 million.
10.4 million.
In 1 year.
In 1 year. And 80% of those homeowners that reported that they took the lowest bid said that they had problems even getting their job completed.
Oh yeah. No, I can believe it.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about our organization, guys, is that, instead of just taking the money that we could, dumping it towards an ad budget that would then return more sales, right? We take less sales to invest into a guy like John, right, who's a high-end CPA, right, to make sure that we are managing our books every single month, to make sure that our cash flow is good, to make sure that we're doing things the right way, the way we recognize revenue and all that.
Yeah.
because a lot of companies, they're not taking the time to value those types of things.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty important. But yeah, no. So where were we with your journey?
I guess what I never got to is I never spoke on why, like after I experienced what I did, why I stuck here. And I guess what I saw when I first came in is I didn't see, like, we didn't door knock. And that was the first thing I noticed right away. And at this point, I still didn't know what I thought about solar, but I was doing the monitoring. So I was seeing that these systems were getting completed, and I was seeing what they were actually doing. Like, I was seeing if they were working. And if they weren't working, I was the one that was trying to figure out why they weren't, what was going on. I learned things that I never expected to learn, a lot of electrical things that I never would have expected to learn. But because someone needed to do it, and like if I visited someone's site or actually talked to a person, I immediately felt like a lot of empathy and understood the person, and I genuinely just wanted to figure it out for them. And that happened a few times, and I went out to sites and helped people and walked them through their system. And keep in mind, I didn't know much, but I was given what I knew to the best of my ability. And if I couldn't help them, I referred them to someone that could. And after seeing how that impacted people and how like they were gaining an understanding of solar with me at the same time, I really just grew really fond of it. Like, it was nice to see that, like, not everyone knows a lot about solar right now in the industry, but there was a genuine attempt to learn it together, and it felt inclusive. The community felt inclusive, which it didn't when I was selling, And ever since, like, I've been hooked, I guess. Like, I often refer to, like, there's sites where I go out and I meet someone and I can't figure out what's going on. And from that point on, that site's like my baby. Like, I got to figure out what's wrong with it. Otherwise, it's going to drive me nuts. And I really do try to pay attention to moments where I'm fully engaged in something, and I notice when there's a problem like that and I'm trying to troubleshoot, or if it's with a journeyman or not, like, I'm engaged.
Well,
and
dude, I mean,
if I'm engaged, that means I'm doing something that matters to me.
Right. I mean, think about like your capacity to self-learn. Who taught you? I mean, Nolan taught you a ton about monitoring portals and understanding systems. But dude, I mean, you're literally at a $2 million project, troubleshooting inverters hand in hand with the top electricians on our staff. Nobody taught you that shit, but here you are, like you talked about when you were originally with the customer, learning the process as you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it's just throughout my life, I feel like, not that I couldn't depend on people, but I didn't want to. I wanted to be able to do things myself, and I wanted to be fully capable of doing anything and everything. And I've always just had a fascination with that, which I don't know. So I think somewhere along the lines, this was probably in college, like, I wasn't really getting the education the way I wanted to be educated. They make you read what they want. There's an agenda, basically. But, school did teach me how to think, and how to think analytically, and how to think creatively. And eventually, like, through school, I realized, like, I could learn whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. There's so many resources out there. There's books, there's podcasts, there's videos. Like, everyone's trying to get an edge on everything. So there's tons of content on there. And you can really, at this point in time, you can really Google anything you want and you can learn it. And if you have a genuine want for it or a passion for it, like, you'll stay driven towards it. Like, I never read. In high school, I pretend to read, fake the answers. I got really good at just analyzing how the test questions worked to answer my questions. I wasn't actually gaining any content or actually understanding the content, but I understood how, like, you could tell by the way questions were asked which was the right answer, and that's how I survived. And I didn't think I was smart in high school because of that, but then I got to college and realized I actually was a pretty creative thinker, and I just rolled with it, and I knew I could teach myself anything. And yeah, I guess, I don't know, it's not something I've ever talked about before, so I guess
it's so interesting to me because, like, you know, when you're looking at like learning things like how to commission, what'd you say, 9 inverters on a multi-million-dollar solar system, and you know what I mean, in St. Paul, it's like, think about like what you're saying is that like how did you find yourself elevated in the situation where you're doing that? Self-learning through critical thinking and, you know, examine,
use your resources. You know, like, I obviously don't know, I didn't design the system. I have no idea like how it's like supposed to operate 100% on its own. Like, I don't know what wires work with what, but I know like somebody does. So like I gotta just use those resources. And like Jeff was out on site. He did a lot, like he was there for all the technical terms, but I was there to just like suggest new ideas. Like, could it be this? Could it be this? Like, I've seen this at, you know, smaller residential sites. Maybe it's possible that the same thing is happening here, but we just aren't noticing it because it's a totally different situation. And we would run that by support. Jeff would explain it, you know, for me if I didn't know like the exact like actual electrical terms. And we would just go down the line. Okay, it wasn't that. We'll go to the next one. I mean, and it's not the most efficient process, but when you're in a situation like that, the most efficient process doesn't always work. Right. Not to say efficiency isn't key, because I think it is, but, you know, sometimes you just have to do the work.
I think the contrast between the first company you were at in Texas and Wolf River and your experience and just like all around. I mean, it's like you touched on every aspect from, you know, looking up reviews, you know what I mean? Like how the company treated you, how you felt at the company, you know what I mean? And not to talk badly about any other company, but, you know, we all know that there's, you know, a lot of contractors that are not, you know, up to our standard, you know what I mean? That we hold ourselves to. Yeah. And I just think like the description of how you feel at Wolf River and how it fosters, you know, like the creative aspects that you have and gives you a space to be able to be creative. And like, I mean, like, honestly, like, yeah, I mean, I see this at Wolf River too. It's like a library, you know what I mean? Like, there are so many experts all over the place, you know what I mean? And it fosters that type of environment, brings people like you in here, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's silly you didn't think you were smart.
Yeah, no, I legit, yeah. I never thought I was. I just, something in high school, like, never, the way I interacted with people never made me think I was. And then I got to college, and I think I took an intro to philosophy class. And basically I read like one thing. I can't remember what it was. It was probably something on like Aristotle or something like that. So, no, Marcus Aurelius did become one of my favorites, but it would have been like old school. It would have been old school. It would have been like Aristotle, Plato, or something like that. I read something and it just like, it clicked for me. And I realized there was so much knowledge out there that I was not up to par with. And there were so many like opportunities of just knowledge that interested me, and I started caring about school at that point. Yeah. And I think I got out of like my first year of college with like a 3.3. I graduated high school with a 2.3. Yeah. So after that, I was like, I am smart, and I took any opportunity I could to learn whatever I could. I don't put this on my resume, but I've probably had over 17 different jobs. And like, because like I would just try things out, and if I didn't like it, I would move on. And then as I got older, I started to realize that like, look, people are gonna start looking down on me if I'm not sticking around. But at the same time, I was looking for comfort. I was looking for a place that was comfortable, and I started to find it every now and again. Like, I stayed at this trucking company for a year, and that was the first job I really stayed at for like more than 6 months. And then I worked at FedEx for 2 years. And then I kind of bounced around again looking for comfort. And then I ended up here, and I'm still here.
It's just cool because I think like certain people, you know, like yourself, need to have a certain amount of like freedom and then like stimulation of your mind, right? I mean, look at like Dylan, for example, right? Dylan doesn't just fit in as a rep, as a manager, right? Dylan, for him to like really be planted in a place where he can grow, he needs, hey bro, here's an office, here's a division, just run with it, right? So what do we get in return? 5 months later, we have more than $3 million in revenue, right? I mean, there's just some people that just can't stay planted where they know, like you said, I think the term you used is comfort, right?
Yeah.
Because there's something uncomfortable about being in a situation where you know you're not being utilized to your fullest potential, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing. And going back to what we talked about, like, it's not just millennials, but like many people who literally like know that they can do so much more, right? I mean, for example, Colin Larson was doing landscaping. Didn't do it for crazy long, right? Now Colin Larson is now just became a foreman, just got his journeyman license. Shout out to Colin, right? And the dude's running crews. I mean, and running solar crews, not easy, extremely technical, extremely fast paced, not a lot of room for error, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Colin too is great. Like, even before he was a journeyman, like he designed his own way of putting up ground mounts. I mean, I don't know for sure if that was his original idea, but he's the only one I see doing it that way across other solar companies. And I went out to a job with him the other day and helped him put up a few panels. I was out there for video content, but then, you know, in a lull, I was like, yeah, I'll help you put up some panels. I think we put up 30 panels in, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, all because of the way he works it. And that was,
yeah. And that's what you get when you get somebody hitting their full potential, right?
Yeah.
Not once have I ever had to say, hey, Colin, pick it up, or hey, Colin, like, what happened out there? Not once, right? Because if somebody's like operating at their full potential, dude, they're hitting on all cylinders, you know? Yeah. But too, I mean, Dylan, I mean, like, it's so crazy that, you know, the leadership within the organization is, you know, balanced, right?
Yeah.
And I think for us to have like having multiple avenues of different things that we do, there's got to be a leader at each of the helm.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I see us looking at doing different things, and there's not a specific person in that role of leadership. And dude, it's hard to see clearly what's going to take place.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you've seen this at other organizations too.
For sure.
You know,
definitely I have. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's one thing that, like, I just can't keep. I mean, I have to keep talking about how special I think this place is. You know what I mean? But I think that's what's so cool is, like, at Wolf River, you know, like, there's an opportunity scene, you know, and there's a position filled, you know what I mean? Someone's given an opportunity, you know what I mean? And I think what you said, like, you know, allowing people to operate in their full capacity and be engaged, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes giving people that opportunity, you know, to be creative and like come into their own, you know what I mean? And be around people that have the belief, you know what I mean? That it really, I mean, like, we started and, you know, bring it full circle, like you said in the very beginning, like, it really starts with belief. You know, if you don't have belief, what do you have? You know what I mean? That starts from the top down. You know what I mean? So I think it's really cool because, you know, when the people at the very top believe in the company the way that you guys do, it becomes so easy for everyone else to. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an environment of belief, you know? And I think that's what allows people's capacity to flourish, because when people believe stuff, anything's possible.
Dude, it's like, as you were saying that, I was thinking of a perfect example of this. Me and you just talked with high level individual earlier this week that, fingers crossed, hopefully will be joining our staff, right? You know, it's like, you know, working for a company, great company,
yep,
nothing wrong, right? But the owners and the leadership, they hit a slot where it's like, hey, we don't really want to grow, or hey, we don't really feel like taking risk and being ambitious, or hey, we don't want to put in the extra hours. We'd rather be home at 4:30 with our family.
Yeah,
it's like the biggest problem I have with that type of mentality, right? It's like, dude, your people, they haven't hit their goals yet. They haven't reached the amount of money they want to make in a year. They haven't reached their fullest level of ability, knowledge, growth, whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never understood how, you know, owners or GMs or whatever are so willing to plateau. Like, trust me, I understand why, dude. Like, burnout can happen if you let it happen.
For sure.
Right? And it's just, and it's like, but dude, like, when you're working with the people every day, you are all on the same goal. The common goal is to achieve something together as a unit, as a team, as a collective, right? all of our individuals' goals are in line with that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I've never understand how owners and managers can settle to be average or settle to not have anything but 50% growth every single year.
It's the standard, honestly, you know, here. It's for sure the standard. And I think it's so beautiful, like how you described that, like, you know, it's not you being lazy or comfortable, you know what I mean? Like, you have a responsibility to everyone underneath you, you know what I mean? And that's, I think the answer to your question right there, you know what I mean? But also, I mean, like, yeah, like, I've been at companies or seen companies, have friends, you know, that own companies, and they get comfortable. They want to protect what they have, you know what I mean? And, you know, I get people have different goals, you know what I mean? But what I love about this place is, you know, where we're headed, you know what I mean? It's forward, you know? So.
And what that means for everybody that's on board, we're all going up.
Yeah.
We're all elevating our profession.
Yeah.
We're all elevating in our finances. We're all elevating ourselves, our development as leadership or potential leadership, our characters, our skills, our mindsets. And like, it's in every area of the company. Yeah. I'm talking with guys in the field right now, electricians, who we've talked about getting them set up to start their own companies, right? And us help them get up and going. Because, dude, construction companies are the worst to get started. Electrical companies are the worst to get started when you're trying to get that second crew set.
Yeah.
Because one owner can run one crew.
Yeah.
But it's the second one that you got to get going. Typically, when we have a surplus of work, it's easy to keep people going. Yeah. Right. But that's the thing, partnering with people, because like we want people to be the best that they can be in every area of the company. It's like, you know, I mean, for example, too, it's just like, you know, when we talk to sales reps, right, that want to step out and do more and step into the role of a mentor, right? Now they're training people under them. Those people under them are helping gain more sales for them as well, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the perfect opportunity for leadership to see, hey, are you meant to be leadership, and how bad do you want it, and how bad do you want to help your people?
Yeah. I mean, like, think about the opportunity for people at the lowest level, you know what I mean? Like, if your leadership all the way up the company is willing to walk with you halfway through anything, you know, not further or faster than you're willing to walk yourself, but, you know, but like top down, I'm not kidding, you know, willing to walk with you halfway, and you know, and able to see, and I mean, like, let's be honest, oftentimes more than other people are willing to walk, you know what I mean?
For sure.
You know, we don't let those opportunities change how we're gonna walk into the next opportunity. And, you know, you would never brag about this yourself, you know, but like, I'm having a conversation with a couple of guys earlier today, and they're just talking about how, man, they could not conceptualize like an owner of a company or leaders in a company helping them to the depth that they have been helped, you know what I mean? And just believing in it, you know, like, they're not going anywhere. Yeah, like, stuff is hard right now, but they believe in it, you know, they're not going anywhere. And yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say the best boss I ever had until now was actually when I was 17 years old, working at a pizza place. I was a delivery driver. The owner of that place, and we're still friends today, he worked with me every single Friday night. He worked every single Saturday night, because he understood that a lot of his people that worked there were kids my age, and Friday and Saturday night was an important night when you're a kid, you know?
Yeah.
So I worked Friday nights, but he stayed with me till close every single night.
Yeah.
Every single day. And like, I was like, I haven't seen this before. Granted, I only had like one other job before that, but the fact that he was willing to be there like during the peak hours, every single week, it really just spoke to me a lot. And I was like, I had a lot of respect for him. And that's why even today, like, he catered for our best friend's wedding, and like takes us out on his boat still. And we still have a very good relationship, and it was all because as a kid, like, he showed me what good leadership was.
Yeah.
Dude, that is like literally a very similar. So when we were getting Wolf River started, we had no money. No money, no experience, no education, nothing, right? So like, obviously, like, as we're still working, dude, we all had like damn near full-time jobs, right? And with me doing sales, you know, all day, Monday through Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, I was working at a sushi bar, right? I was a server, and then I got transitioned to bartender for like a year and a half, right? Because we needed to have like a little bit of income while we're like dumping everything we got, Vladimir, Luke, and myself, into our account to buy product, to pay people. Wasn't much, but that was what we had to do, you know?
Yeah.
And so I worked at Misono, sushi bar, right? Mad respect. Hardest workers I've ever met is these two brothers. They had a third partner, but these two brothers, they're from China.
Yep.
Cold killer, hard workers. I've never seen anything like it. 7 days a week. They don't take a day off. 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
Open, like not even open, like prepping up until open, closing it down, and then cleaning up. I've never seen anything like it. It's insane. It was like a culture shock for me. I didn't know the food. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know how to pronounce it. I didn't know any of this stuff, but they gave me a shot, right? Because I needed some sort of income, you know, and they were cool. But I'm telling you, it's like every time I came in there, they heard I had a business, right? They heard I was trying to start this. Every time I saw them, every day, hey man, how's business? What can we do to help your business? Oh, you sell lights? Hey, we could use some lights. Every single day. And I'm like, dude, these guys legitimately care about me, who was like, dude, I'm washing dishes half the time because, you know, there's seniority in serving, and, you know, I didn't get no table, so I'm just in the back doing dishes, right? For like $7.50. I don't mind. These guys are good to me. I'm going to do this for them because everybody else has tables, needs dishes. I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to do that for them. And I tell you what, man, like, you know, there was like a little bit of a change. They promoted me from, you know, lower level server to higher end server, and then to the bartender, the only bartender, like on Fridays and Saturdays, which was sick, right? But dude, every time I go in there, even nowadays, it's like, hey man, how's business? I'm like, dude, it's badass. How's your business, right? And it's good because they're open. I think they opened up a different restaurant too.
We go there for your birthday?
Misono and Blaine.
Yeah.
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 Best place ever. Only place I'll eat sushi. But yeah, no, like I'm telling you, it's like because people like cared about me enough, like, because I felt like they genuinely cared about my well-being, about me elevating myself, man, dude, I was willing to do anything for them guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that goes a long way. I mean, it's necessary to feel needed.
Well, dude, who would want to work for somebody or an organization that doesn't have your best interest in mind?
Yeah. No one.
Well, I might, but I'm not gonna care for the company. I'm not gonna care for the team of leadership.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna care for the individual. Why would they? Why would I? They don't care about me.
No, I've been in that position. Like,
Yeah.
I've been in that spot, and I just know, like, every day when you feel that way, every day you're just waiting for an excuse. You're waiting for an excuse to step out the door. You imagine in your head, at least I did. Like, I was like, I hate this. I can't do it anymore, but I need the money, so I'm going to stay. But it could have been anything that would make me go. But yeah, you don't get that if you just get into a company. It doesn't even have to be much. It just has to be like, show a genuine understanding or interest in what I'm doing, because I am trying, you know, but
I think it's genuine. I think it's a genuine interest, you know what I mean? Because I mean, I know people that own companies that try to fake it, you know what I mean? And everyone can see it, you know what I mean? So it's got to be real.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I feel the same way as, you know what I mean? Like, if people are here, you know what I mean, and I'm not, I feel terrible. You know what I mean?
Dude, right?
Yeah. So I mean, but it's easy to feel like that because the precedent is set. You know what I mean? Precedent set. I mean, you guys are up in the warehouse, way past everybody, right? So I think that's how the company operates. That's why you can believe in it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wolf Den Podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes coming out every Friday. But this upcoming episode, we have a huge announcement that you're not going to want to miss. It's an extremely cool partnership with a sports team that you may be watching all the time. So stay tuned for more. Check out our episode next Friday. See you then. Can you cut out how I kind of like with... See you then.